Fantastic. Well, I am super excited to welcome my friend, Dr. Alex Ling, here today to chat to everyone about all the incredibly exciting things that are happening, not only with Aquan, but around the world, all the information that's coming forward about water, about Indigenous communities and their relationship with water, and your visits to Mexico. And there's so much to share. So I'm very excited to welcome you, Alex, and love to hear all your latest information. So how are you?
I'm very good. Hi, Medine, and thanks for having me yet again. It's been quite a journey over the last few weeks. There's so much more information coming through from all different angles. It's just mind blowing. It just keeps going and going and coming and coming. So, thanks for that introduction. That's amazing. Love the background. Again, you did it.
It's great.
Amazing. Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful. Yes,
Thank you.
that's great.
Thank you. So what's your latest that you'd like to share with us? Perhaps should we start with Aquan and what's happening with Aquan at the moment? That would be wonderful to hear, because I know that there's a lot that's just happened recently in terms of the evolution of this amazing product that's here to help the world.
Yes, we have, there's so much. Let me think where to start. We have actually moved Aquan away to a different location because we had to upgrade as well. And we have found this amazing place, which is in the middle of a forest. It has an absolute beautiful spring, which has been used as a spring for many, many centuries. And the water quality is absolutely amazing. So we just had it tested, and it's been previously bottled up in bottles for drinking water as well. So we decided to upgrade just because we had so many new customers of late, and not to disappoint people, because there were some waiting times and people had to wait, I think in some cases, for 3 weeks for their products. So we had to do something. So we pulled a new team together, which is absolutely fantastic. Every single person which is involved with Aquan is completely, in tune with what we're doing, and they all get on like a house on fire. It's just like a lovely, lovely energy. As soon as you go into the production room, it's just full of this happy family kind of, energy around Aquan, and that's what it needed. So we have upgraded it. We have literally used our knowledge to upgrade the product as such, which means we have created a new frequency blueprint for Aquan. And we have based that on the ancient waters, which we have been researching of late in Mexico, for example, the lagoons, and we are communicating further with the indigenous people of the area, from the area in Mapimi, to gain more access to the knowledge and how to communicate with water. It's been a mind-blowing experience, and there is so much knowledge which is just embedded in water. So water is just really just so much more than just something we drink to hydrate. Water has consciousness. Water is a creator. Water is full of information going back millions and billions of years of existence, and carries literally all the knowledge which is coming from our universe, and how our universe, not only our universe, how everything has been created. So with that in mind, we wanted to communicate to the source, or with the source of the water, which is the blueprint, and the oldest waters on this planet are carrying still that blueprint. So that's why the ancient people call it the cosmic oceans. So by using a specific technique to photograph the water, and now we are talking something which we are just working on, which has to do with the color spectrum of each frozen water sample. And there's a certain a certain resonance and a certain rhythm in the water when you freeze it. So some of the colors which are emerging come in a certain sequence. So we're working on something which is even more interesting, that we not just have a visual kind of a visual picture of the water, of the essence of the water, but also that we have an audible sound with it. So there's something coming up very, very shortly in the next 2 or 3 months where we're able to tap into something which never, ever, ever been done before. And that way we have the ancient waters communicating to each other. I go into that aspect in a little bit, what I mean by that. So, but what we did for Aquan is we used that specific blueprint and we reintroduced that blueprint into the water in connection with an old ancient spring, which we are using as a water source, because you have to not just overlap its original water DNA. You have to introduce something and then stimulate it to upgrade it. And that's how we did it. So in that form, we have also now 2 magnetic fields. So we're running the water twice through the same cycle, basically, to magnetize it, to structure it. And we have the Schauberger device, which we're using to form the double helix to structure the water. That one, we have multiplied that, and we have glass vessels. Let me just show you. This is like what our production kind of looks like. I should have sent you this picture.
I can share the picture here, Alex, of the building. It looks very beautiful. Just here?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes, gorgeous.
And give you a brief insight, and just see if I can, sorry, I should have done that beforehand, and I didn't. I just sent that to you on WhatsApp, and I don't know if you can do something with that. Okay. That's just part of it in that state. It wasn't quite ready yet. Don't know if you received it.
Yes, I've got it here. Yeah. Or just
so they're all
everyone.
So we have 2 sides of these kind of productions. So we have altogether a number of these tanks, and then we have a whole row of a whole row of the glass pots, we call them, where the Aquan is led through, and we have changed it actually since then. I can't find now the last pictures of it, which would be, oh yes, yeah, I sent you this one because that is the latest one. Sorry about this, public. Yeah, so you can see on the next picture that all the taps are on top, are being installed, and that's where the Schauberger devices are going to create a beautiful double helix. There it is. Mm-hmm. So it's quite a technical undertaking. So I'm working together with scientists on this whole undertaking. Underneath each of the glass vessels is a specific a loudspeaker speaker, which is meant for marina research. So it's waterproof, and it's connected to a frequency machine, which then, well, it's not a machine, it's a sound. So we have very specific sounds which then will be put through the glass into the water. Right. So there's gentle vibrations, and you can see that when you look into the water, you can see little ripples kind of forming, almost like a somatic plate, and it kind of plays constantly to the water, and it harmonizes the water in that way. So we're using 528, and we're using 256. So we're using this kind of beautiful frequencies to enhance the water with these amazing frequencies to align with the universe, with the love, which is what we're all about. So in short, So I have a bit of cold, and my head is a bit full of my cold, the cold as well. And sorry, I'm mumbling on and mumbling on. So, but yeah, so we are very, very excited because we have tested the water and the new Aquan, and the quality of it is, I think it's just not just one upgrade. I think it's like 10 upgrades because the taste is different. The quality, it has always now this golden, beautiful color, just a hint of gold in the water. It's just absolutely amazing. And it has taken on that beautiful blueprint of the lagoon as well. So what we're going to install on top of each vessel when it's finished. So we only have done it for the first few batches, but it will be permanently fixed on top. So it's this kind of blueprint of the water, and then we have this beautiful light frequencies coming through and going into the water as well. So with light and sound, and that is just like the perfect combination. So I always wanted to do that, and it just taken a while of research, and also, of course, it was a financial issue as well, because this whole process was very costly. So, but yeah, so it's definitely worth it to try the new Aquan, and it's absolutely amazing. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I've got the link below if anyone wants to order some more Aquan and check out all the different products now available with Aquan as well. If you go to that link, you'll be able to see. So it's very exciting what you're doing there, and it's really raising the frequency of the planet in big ways. So that's really special as well, of course.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And it's time also that we are linking up with the water in complete harmony. So we have done so much wrong to water as well, and to ourselves. So by kind of using the wrong food even, and you know, every food, and you are really what you eat. And that's one of the things which is very true. So water has DNA altering possibilities. So and that can show very easily in the food production, and that's why water in its purest form, when it comes from the water table, each water is different. It has its own language, and that's what my last talk was about, the different languages of the water. So and it's a bit like us coming from different countries and speaking a different language. So each water coming from different areas, from different countries, even from different regions, has a different dialect, if you like. So and so that is to do with the minerals, of course, of the soil, of the stones, of the rocks, of the crystals, you know, where the water is living in, because it picks that blueprint up from all the minerals, you know, straight away. So, and that's why it is so crucial that we pay more attention where our water is coming from. Because if it is coming from the tap water, yes, there are filters out there, and you can filter some of the more harmful things like the chlorine or whatever. You can reduce it, but you never get rid of the blueprint. And that there is a difference here. You can get rid of the physical form of the toxins, but to change the water entirely, you would have to restructure it, or you have to go on a very spiritual journey with the water to heal it.
Right.
And it is possible to do that, as Dr. Emoto has proven as well. But as we are all also quite busy in our lives, so I always think the best thing to do is just, if you just, for example, for the drinking water, if you can get your hands on water which comes from a spring, and if you can have access to living water, which is very difficult, to be honest. Living water is one of the purest water forms, you know, on this planet, and there's only a very small amount left now. And that's again something which all the elitists, of course, know very well, and they are using only water which is coming from those glaciers, which are now, of course, vanishing. And also from the ancient springs in the Arctic cycle, and these kind of waters which are considered living water. So, and they have access to it. They pay like crazy money. Some of the water goes up to 30,000 pounds for a liter of water. I mean, that's just, it's just crazy. But if you have that kind of money, of course you can afford it. But it is wrong. It's wrong, and that's what I have done. That's what the talk is about when I go on tour with Sasha Stone just in a few weeks, starting in Cornwall and then going to all sorts of different locations. It's on his website, I think. So there is so much wrongdoing when it comes to water. And the ancient kings of Sumeria, they knew very well what they were doing, because, they didn't wanted us to have access to living water anymore, to water which came from a free-flowing kind of spring, because they would know that it would enable us to not only to self-heal, but also be completely in tune with our consciousness. So, and to be connected also with this earth, which is very important, and of course with the universe. So to cut that kind of connection, they thought, what's the best way of doing it? So they looked at all the ancients beforehand and how the indigenous groups are working. And we still know that, because all my latest research is about the pyramids in Mexico and how they use the water as a mirror to connect the shamans with the above and the below. So, and that is a very, very important aspect for our spiritual kind of consciousness, for our spiritual bodies. And so if we interrupt that, then we are out of sync, we are out of tune, not only with ourselves, but with nature. And water is not taken in a form as it should be, because, as I said, water is not just something you can or you should drink. Water is actually a communication tool, and it enables us to do great things. We are actually all creators, and if we use water in the right way and we have access to the right water, then we all are able to manifest incredible things. And that is really the key to it. So that's what they didn't wanted us to do, because they wanted to control humans. They needed us to be enslaved.
Yeah.
And through this enslavement, they thought, so let's take away the very thing which connects humans to that ability, which is water. So, and the first cisterns in ancient texts, actually, there are probably some which are way older than that, but the first ones were around 14,000 years. And they came in an area of Levant, for example, which is near Israel, Tel Aviv. And there's like this highway between Israel and the Arab countries and the European countries, if you consider Turkey as like the edge of the European countries. So, and since ever, and we know that if you just put on the TV and the news, it's full of it still, there it is still, the same kind of warmongering energy is happening in that area, and it's still alive and kicking. And that's because this Mount Megiddo, for example, who has a beautiful spring deep down inside the mount, has been sealed off purposely. And so there is a chamber which you could have had access to the ancient spring. And so when they seal off areas, and that happened quite a lot by the races of like the likes of the Anunnaki and these kind of creatures who would like to use humans as slaves and didn't want us to know what capabilities we had. So they would seal off this kind of chambers purposely to stop us from having access to these waters. And not only that, they would then imprint the water with some quite disturbing frequencies. So they would have human sacrifices being chucked down into the springs. They would very often use symbolism in those chambers to keep the resonance as a blueprint in the water alive, and that way would change, unfortunately, the water, because the water is just like a child. It just takes on whatever you put into it, right?
Yes.
So,
And I think they
so
really impacted the divine feminine through the water as well by
absolutely.
suppressing our divine feminine through impacting the water. I really wanted to share with you too, while you're talking there, Alex. I have this wonderful site here called Find a Spring, and it goes around the world. If you go findaspring.com, and it goes to Australia here as well and everywhere, and it shows where all the springs are in the world. So if that helps anyone, go to Find a Spring, and you might be able to find a spring in your location. So it's got all the different countries and everything. So that could be really helpful as well.
That's a good, yeah, that's a good site to know. I actually will use that one too to see if there are some springs which I haven't discovered yet. So that would be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So and many springs in each country they did it. You know, it's not just like something they did in Israel, but or near Israel. But that is for me like a prime example how these frequencies are still intact and still causing the same kind of wars and kind of divisions, you know, in these countries. And we are in contact just by synchronicity. We bumped into a group of beautiful people which are from Tel Aviv, and these people are very much aware. They're also into water and healing with water. So they're like a strong group of 20 who have taken it up on them to try and end the conflict through healing, not just the water, but also people in that matter who are so traumatized by that conflict, ongoing conflict, and try to get the division or get the people together again. And we have made a plan to go later this year to Megiddo and to try to access that chamber somehow. We're not quite sure how, because it will be difficult, or at least what we can try is to change the blueprint of the water. But we have a few good plans, and watch that spot, because that's going to be quite incredible. So I believe that Sasha Stone is maybe part of that too. So we're going to have some discussion about it. So yeah, so it's planned for later this year, possibly in November. And then we need to do something. We can't just let it all happen and forget about it, right? So we need to actually stand up and go back to the source of water and help the water. And this is how I see it. I see that the more I'm getting involved with water, the more I'm listening to water, the more it's like talking back, not just to me, to everybody who's working in the same way. So this is concerning all of us. There's no one here who's leading it. We all open to this kind of information.
People are really talking about water everywhere and how important water is, and seeing water in a different way to how we did before. Before it was just, oh, there's just water's around us. But now we're realizing that it has a consciousness, and it's absolutely essential in the evolution of humanity and in healing the water sources, so that we can evolve. You know, we can heal humanity, we can heal the earth, and we can evolve. I'm really excited to share, actually, Alex, while you're talking, that we have decided before we started the chat today, we decided that Alex is going to be running with two incredible shaman a workshop about connecting to water and how we can connect to the ancient blueprint of water. And this will be coming up quite shortly on Thursday, the 20th of June, which will it be 9 or 10 a.m. for you there, do you think? Oh, you'll be in Mexico. So do you know?
In Mexico, I don't know what the time difference is, actually. I'll let you know. But yeah, I'm sure until now, I don't know even how to. Okay, I can tell you Mexico at the minute is 20 past, now it's 3:35
In the afternoon.
a.m.
Oh, okay. Sure. Right. Well, it's 7:30 here in Australia. So therefore, we probably have to. Anyway, we'll work on finding a time. It'll be on the 20th.
Yes.
It'll be on the
Sorry.
solstice. We picked the solstice because it's such an important solstice this year.
Yeah.
And it's on the 20th of June, Thursday, the 20th of June. And we're going to just narrow down a time for it. But the workshops will be Australian, very reasonably priced at $111 Australian, which of course is less in other currencies. But the important point is we are going to be exploring again the importance of water with these two shaman, and you can ask. I mentioned we'll have, because it's a 90-minute workshop, we'll have a question and answer section at the end. And can you share with everyone listening what that's going to be about and a little bit more about the shaman, please, Alex?
Sure. Okay, so the shamans are indigenous people from Mexico. One of them who is very, very knowledgeable about the Pleiades. So they have all these connections to the star system. So they're coming anyway from a background where water is absolutely essential. There is a lot of Atlantean kind of connection there in her work as well. And Eduardo is more on the native Indian kind of side. So he's been appointed by tribes before to be the spokesperson, I think. So he has quite an amazing knowledge when it comes to, it's almost like a timeless, almost like a quantum knowledge connected to him, because he comes from a very ancient knowledge, but also can go way, way into the future. So it's quite astonishing. Both of them are highly gifted and very respected people in San Miguel, and they are incredible people. I mean, I've been part of their water ceremony which they did, and it had an incredible effect on me. It was just mind-blowing. And yeah, they know how to communicate with water, and that's what it's all about. So we use this kind of blueprint not only to reconnect us with the blueprint of water, but also then people will have, and that is the main thing for us, or for me personally, is that you have the gift to communicate with waters. So please, after you did the workshop, which is to align you properly with the source of water again, then you can go out into the world and you can visit all the springs and you can support what we're doing to align all the water, to bring that ancient blueprint back into all the water sources around the world. And that is so, so important to help this planet to go back into the right resonance as well, to help the whole process of creating new Earth, if you like. So this is so, so essential.
Oh, wow. I love that so much. And the other point with it is that 50% of the payment will be going straight towards the Indigenous Mexican community. And tell us what that will be going to, because it's really, really important to protect their water sources, which are so much part of who they are and their ancestry there.
Yes. That is supporting the Biosphere Reserve, which is in Mapimi. And these people are the descendants from the Irretillas, so they're called Laguneros. And these people are literally the last standing of this absolute incredible native tribe who was or is still so connected to water. So they have different ways of communicating with water through chanting, through sound, through frequencies, and they communicate with each water like they're different children, and it's just that beautiful connection they have. And I have seen it myself, and we have photographed the water and we have filmed the water and how it's changing while they're talking to it. It's just mind-blowing. I've never seen anything like that in my life. We have then also sampled the water and we have drunk the water. They don't use any filters or anything. It comes straight from the lagoons, and it's so much different to any water I've ever drunk in my life. It's a bit like a water plasma, and it really feels, you have it in your mouth and you swallow the water and it feels instantaneously. You have that feeling that you're completely hydrated, and
which
it
is what we're
opens.
missing in our where we live, in our our
Yeah,
places around the world. Australia, you drink and you just don't feel hydrated at all, do you?
yeah, you have to drink more and more and more. And I think
Mm.
there's so many people out there who, the children start drinking all this kind of sugary waters and stuff. And I cannot even press enough. And I know I'm not trying to demonize people who let their children kind of drink that kind of stuff, but please, 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 just be aware of something, that even just one can of Coke, if you like, can alter your DNA quite substantially. And that will have an effect in the future in future generations. So everything we eat, we need to be more aware, and we need to be more careful about this. We have been kind of blinded and duped into believing that what we buy in supermarkets is good for us. And we all know now that this is not the case. Most of the nations are very sick from all the toxins they have put in our food. And I think it's really time to try at least to return our physical bodies to something, which we can, so that we don't walk into the future and creating even more sick nations. So we just, there's so much inflammation, so much cancer, so many things. And yes, we have also the Wi-Fi issues, and that is true, and stress and all of these kind of things. But you can repair so much of this damage by having proper water and living water, right? And people saying, oh, is it not good enough that I'm using distilled water? Distilled water is not the same.
It's not living water. It's dead water.
It's dead water. So, even so, it's probably better than using tap water. You still need to put minerals like sea salt into it, and you can stir it, can use, they're available everywhere online as well. They're like, I don't know where our stirrer is, but we have a stirrer which has like a beautiful little spiral on the bottom and one on the top. So you can stir the water in motion, anti-clockwise and anti-clockwise, and then you're creating this kind of double helix, and then you can restructure it. So you don't have to go and buy really expensive devices to do that. You can do it yourself. And you can also put good thoughts about it. Put your good intentions into your water. That helps a lot as well. So there's a lot of energetic work which you can do to restore, oh, there it is. So that I show this quickly.
I want to get one of those. You have to tell me where I can purchase those.
Well, they are from our good friends. We sell them very shortly online as well, and we don't just charge what they charge anyway on their website. And what is inside these beautiful things? They're silver plated, and they're really, really beautiful. And it's made from copper, and they're silver plated. And inside they're hollow, and inside they have structured water, and that water is also communicating with the water when you stir the water. Use the stir in the water. So and it's a beautiful invention. They're selling these beautiful things since 1992 or something, and it's Jonathan and Dolly, yes, Dolly is also someone who's coming from a medical background, and Jonathan is a German scientist. They're very respected in the water community ever since. So, and we are using their devices to sell that on our website. It's not up yet, but it will be in a short while.
I'll be ordering one.
They're not even that expensive, and they last forever. So you can just use it ongoingly, and that saves a lot of money. You don't have to go into all these new crazy devices, which promise all sorts of things. But when you look into it, I have looked into them, and I wanted to have some for our shop, for our Aquan shop. But our scientist has taken one of them apart, and he said, it's not working because either the magnets in there are in the wrong kind of number, and they're actually not creating the field they promised to create, or they're using plastic instead of shungite. And there's all sort of I don't want to say charlatans, but it's a heavy word to use, but people who misleading maybe people to believe that it's something which is good and selling it for a very high price.
They
So,
don't
and
really
it's
know
not
what they're doing, maybe. Yeah.
exactly. So we test everything, and anything is tested, which we are using, and just to be sure that we have only the best products really for our clients and customers. So that's it's so important for me to get things out there which are actually working. So coming back to the research which we're doing, so in the future we're hoping to create in that way blueprints which can be given to all the waters around the world to restore the water and helping water to find the right frequency again, because we have created this environment because also of 5G towers and these kind of things, and that all has an effect, of course, of the groundwater, of the spring waters, and it's all it resonates right in the ground, and it goes through it, and so it's not quite so harmless as people think, and it goes through us as well. Don't forget, we are vessels of water too. So, and it has a huge impact. Every time I'm driving past on the A30, like in Cornwall, with this massive 5G towers popping up everywhere now, right on the roadside of the A30, it gives me a shiver, and I'm thinking now, how much radiation actually am I picking up each time I'm passing by this horrendous things, and the effect it has on my health. So people are just so closed off because they're just it's more important for them to have mobile phones which supposedly are faster, have faster networks, which is rubbish. It has no effect on it at all. This is just something which they're installing for control again, so this is like for facial recognition, for all sorts of things, which is there to control us and to push us even further down, into the box where they want us to be. But let's just stop this all, and let's just go forward into, I'm not here to talk about all this doom and gloom, because I believe that this has been done long enough. We know what their plan is. We know what they're doing. They are on the way out, but they're still using technology to try and control us. So, and I think it's time that we are liberating ourselves, and that has to happen. And it has to happen from the simplest kind of things which we are, and that is water. Let's try and start there and liberate ourselves through drinking the right water, restoring our health, and restoring the planet, and bringing back the beautiful blueprint of water which it's supposed to have. And so we can do this easily. We all can communicate with water. This is not some woo-woo stuff. This is real. So, and and I'm talking mainly to people, my talks, who are spiritual, but not completely not so awake that they have a big knowledge of how to heal themselves. So for them, it's really important to have it as simple and simple as possible, without going too deeply into science or spiritual matter, so that they lose the will to live. So something needs to be done which is simple and can be picked up by everybody.
Yes, well said. Well, I guess that's a really good place to finish, Alex. I know you have to go to another meeting and you're super, super busy now.
Yes.
You're very popular with all the different forums at the moment because of your knowledge and all your life experience that you've brought with you. I just do want to mention that with that workshop that we're offering, the other thing is that it's supporting the turtles, because there are beautiful turtles there in that community that you can't find anywhere else, and they are being impacted by the water being impacted. So if you do get a workshop, that some of that funding will go towards supporting this very special turtle community as well.
So I have actually a little bit longer, because we have just heard that the meeting has been postponed for a little while, but if I pretty much have said pretty much everything anyway, but sorry to interrupt you. Yes, very, very important. The turtles are very, very, very important because they're beautiful giant turtles. I've seen them in the desert, and their location, because they're so under threat, their location is kept quite secret as well. But they're massive. They're like, about pretty much almost a meter, long, and maybe like 60 centimeters or 70 in diameter. So they're big, big land turtles, and they're beautiful. One of the oldest inhabitants of this planet, and they deserve to be protected. And that is something which I found in the area where the lagoons are. Because they're not water turtles, they're land turtles, but they do need water as well to survive. So, and there's just such a diversity in that desert. The whole plant, all the plants in the desert, because also, of course, the zone of silence has this enormous magnetic field, and that makes the whole area so special, and so incredibly energetic as well. As soon as you go in there, and we have upcoming also, it's called Aquan Explorers, and so where we take a small group of people with us to communicate with the indigenous people, and then also have the chance to take part in our research. So there won't be many people joining us. That are going to be small groups of 5, maybe 7 are coming with us. And there is a laboratory which we have access to. We just got the permission from the government because we're going with scientists and doctors, and so we got the permission to go there and do our studies, which is very, very close to one of the tunnel systems, which is going actually inside or underneath this particular mountain, Ignatius, which is the mountain in question. So the mountain has been sold off a few years ago to an American, very wealthy American guy. It's hopefully not Bill Gates, but nobody's talking, nobody's telling us who it is, because either they don't know, or maybe they're also a little bit worried to talk too much about this. So if this person is on our side, or well, there's no side, but if he's having good intentions, then hopefully we'll meet this person, and we can maybe work together, with our research and protect the turtles and all these kind of things.
Image here, actually, an image right here of one of the shells.
Yes, that's right. Yes, so that is one of the shells which she's just holding up. Is one of the indigenous people who lives there, and she is actually one of the key people we are talking to at all times, and her husband, which have been living there. Her family has been there for 7 generations, but in overall, these laguneros, these people have been there for 2,000 years on this land. So it's quite an established. It's a small community again, because many of the young people, of course, they're moving away, and they want to live in a city, and there's not much money to make. So they really are self-sufficient, and they live from the land, even so it's very hard because there's very little growing there. But they manage to grow, to also they keep a few bit of cattle and a bit of a few goats and things like that, to just be self-sufficient. And it's just a small community. I think there are all together 15 people living in this village.
Did you say 15 or 50? 15.
15, 1-5.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's small.
So there are not many people left anymore, but their knowledge is vital, and their knowledge about healing and plants and the water, of course, is absolutely crucial. And we don't want to wait like it was with the Hopis, that the elders would leave and there's none of them left in the reservation to talk to. So we really would like people to pick up on what we do and come and join us and spread this knowledge all around the world, you know, and use that knowledge as well, because it's meant to be used in terms of connecting to water, and that is our ancient right to return to that to the ability to use water, not just for healing, but also to communicate between the waters and repair that ancient connection we have. So, and yeah, so that is mainly what the workshop is all about as well. So it ties in beautifully into these kind of things. And the people who will also do one of the next few workshops are actually in Mapimi. They are one of the indigenous people as well, and there will be a big ceremony, water ceremony, where we all take part in this. And even so, they don't want us to film this, but we can have people with us who would experience that. So they're a bit suspicious about being filmed when they do, and we totally respect that. So we don't want to put anything like that onto them. So we have a very close bond with them, and we've been invited into the family, so we don't want to misuse their trust. And it's
who could blame them for that anyway? The way the world is.
And yes, and it's something which works both ways. I mean, we're exchanging a lot of the new knowledge we have as well. They were very interested in seeing our research, and we show them we are very transparent with what we do. We never withheld any information. So we show them immediately what we're doing. And so for them to understand that we're not interfering with the water spirits, and that we're very, very respectful towards that. So that is important.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I think we've got some wonderful information from you today. Alex, is there anything finally that's important that you'd like to mention? I think you've probably pretty much covered everything, but is there anything final that you'd like to mention at the end? I've got to go and get a hot cup of tea myself after this.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised I didn't need a cough, but I actually I programmed my water with all the good intention. I said, please don't let me cough. So there you go.
I should have done that too. Well, oh, that's great. Well, is there any final thing that you want to share with everyone before we finish today, Alex?
No, the only thing I would say is that yes, the workshops which you're doing, that's just the start. So hopefully we can do another one later this year. That would be great. But yes, so the information about the trips which we are doing, because people have asked me so many times, we already had quite a huge interest in people who wanted to join us on those journeys. If it is only going to be Mexico, and the answer is no. We're planning also other trips to Altai in Siberia, which is going to be very special because we are invited to talk to the shamans there as well. And we are hopefully also going to not only to go to Israel. That's one of the things which we're doing in November, as I mentioned it before, to heal the ancient spring of Megiddo. And communicate with the waters. So there are very few spaces left for that. So we already had quite a number of people who wanted to join us. But if you have any interest, please email us. This is purely by invitation, so we're not putting it out there like a big holiday kind of sale, because it isn't a holiday. So I have to make that very clear. It's very, very difficult terrain in Mapimi, in the desert. We have very limited access to water. It's not a luxurious hotel available. So we are accommodated in one of the huts which they have. There are beds, there are toilets, but the water, the shower situation has to be very brief because they have to save the water. So anybody who's not up for a little bit of roughing it, then it is not the right journey for you. It's also extremely hot, and so you have to be fairly fit physically to do this journey. So we're also going to bring the other groups. So we have two groups. Either you can do the whole journey to from Apime and then come to San Miguel de Allende as well. So there we have working together with an archaeologist. His name is Albert Coffey. He has written books and such, and he's an amazing guy, very open-minded archaeologist. And he will take us this time when we return just in 2 days. I will be back in Mexico. And we are having the opportunity to visit pyramids which never ever been excavated. They're completely newly discovered, and they're all intact still with the water system in place. So that's going to be amazing. So we hope to take small groups again to that location, not this time, but starting from hopefully from July, end of July, August. So that's going to be a treat for everybody who's interested in that.
Oh, that's brilliant. And you can always contact me, and I can put you in contact with Alex as well. If that helps, just email me. So that is wonderful, Alex. We've been updated on Aquan and all the information on water, the upcoming workshop on the solstice, the 20th of June. If anyone's interested, go to the links below in the description. And we'll look forward to hearing the updates, Alex, when you have gone on more of your journey with Mexico and this wonderful community and all the work you're doing with Sasha Stone as well. So fantastic. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Alex, for everything that you're doing for the planet and for water. And
yes, you too, because we all doing the same work. We're all sharing it. We all are ambassadors of water. So, and that's really what we are.
Very true, very true. Thank you everyone for listening, and may you have a wonderful journey with your connection with water and your relationship with water from this time onwards, where you're able to really contribute to the frequency of the water on the planet for everyone that's listening. So thank you.
Thank you, Medine. Thanks for having me again. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.